Welcome to What's Hot Harlem America with G. Keith Alexander. The crossroads where culture, lifestyle, and community meet, all hosted by the legendary New York radio TV personality and proud Harlem American, G. Keith Alexander.
Thank you so very, very much. Hey, welcome to What's Hot Harlem America with G. Keith Alexander, the crossroads where culture, lifestyle, and community meet. Wherever you are, I appreciate you for joining our neighborhood as we hang out together in Harlem, America. Today, in the What's Hot Spotlight is Miss Freda Payne. Freda is an American singer and actress. She began her career in music during the mid-'60s and is still current today. Her most famous hit singles were Band of Gold and Bring the Boys Home. Freda has acted in musicals and films, and as well as hosted a TV talk show. When Freda met Johnny Mathis, chemistry and musicality abounded as they breathed delicious life into George and Ira Gershwin's classic, They Can't Take That Away From Me. As a tantalizing sneak peek from the new CD, the sound of these legends' voices together on one mic for the first time, anywhere, anytime, is a treat for the ears and hearts of all. So it is my distinct honor and pleasure to say that Freda Payne is What's Hot. Hello, Freda. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Keith?
You certainly are. And I'm doing great. So nice to be with you. I'm telling you.
It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Well, thank you so very, very much. How are you holding up in this COVID environment?
I'm holding up. It's been a little, sometimes it's trying, but you kind of like say you feel blessed because you start hearing stories about other people losing their lives, being very ill, people who are, have to stand in food lines. And I'm saying, well, I'm very blessed. I've been able to sustain, and I don't have to do that. But I just got my vaccination, by the way, yesterday.
You did you? Well,
yeah, it was the day before yesterday. I got it the day before, and my arm got sore the next day.
Well, I got mine yesterday.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yes,
wow.
I got mine yesterday, and I'm going to post a video of it after you and I finish with our conversation today. I had a video shot of me getting my first shot. My arm is not sore so far, and that's good.
Well, that's a good sign. It was like 24 hours before my arm got sore, but it wasn't.
Oh.
I mean, when I got the shot, I couldn't even feel the prick. It was sort of like, are you sure you vaccinated me? Yeah.
Did you get the Moderna or the other one?
The Moderna.
Yeah.
When I got there, they already had me registered as getting the Moderna, but I said, can't I get the Pfizer? But they already had predetermined what you were going to get,
Yeah, mine was Moderna as well. So let us talk about this new project, this new wonderful, to be in a duet with the great Johnny Mathis. Both of you guys are legends, and to have your voices together on the same CD. Tell me, how did this project come about?
Well, there was a young man by the name of Rodrigo Rios, who is the producer on the project. Mm-hmm. And he's Brazilian, by the way, and he started coming to my shows out here in LA, and he became very interested in wanting to record me. And he said, at first he wanted to do, he said, let's do an Ella Fitzgerald album. And have you ever recorded that before? I said, no, but I've done the play Ella Fitzgerald, First Lady of Song. He said, and then he changed it, and he said, you know what, let's do album of duets. So he started coming up with names, mm-hmm. And he said, Dee Dee Bridgewater. He mm-hmm. says, what do you think about her? I said, I love Dee Dee. She's a fantastic singer. And then he said Kurt Elling, who is fantastic, by the way. He's great. Mm-hmm. He's a great jazz artist and a Grammy Award winner and everything. And then he said Johnny Mathis, and I said, wow, do you think we can get Johnny? He said, do you know him? I said, yes, I know him. I said, but I've never worked with him before. And that's Johnny Mathis, you know what I mean?
Right.
So he's done duets with other, of course, with other women before, such as Denise Williams. Matter of fact, they had a huge hit,
Oh, they did.
back in the day. Let's what? Too much, too little, too late. Ever try again? And that was a big hit for them, both of them together. And he's done duet with Dionne Warwick and some others. And so he contacted Johnny's manager, and the answer came back. Johnny said he would love to do a duet with me.
Wow.
And then, of course, we went into the studio. We did 5 things. This is going to be an EP, not a, like not 10 or 12 tunes. It's going to be like, we're going to be doing 6 tunes on this EP. And so our executive producer, who was James Michael Getz, he came in and he said, okay, I'll take care of this, because I wasn't on a label. I wasn't on a label that they would normally finance this. And so this was a private project. This was an independent project. And so James Michael Getz became the executive producer. Rodrigo Rios is the one that brought this together in terms of having the interest in me even, recording. And of course, he said, we're going to do it at Capitol Records here in Hollywood in Studio A. And that's how it all happened. Oh, and we got the great arranger. We talked about arrangers, who would be the best arrangers. And he came up with Gordon Goodwin. Gordon Goodwin is the arranger. And the big band is our musicians they're called the Big Fat Band.
Wow. Well, you've done pop, soul, jazz. Which do you prefer?
I prefer jazz,
You prefer
but I
jazz.
like soul. I like variety. I like doing it all, but I prefer, I prefer jazz because those are my roots. I started out singing jazz. But then again, I do the R&B because I know that you have to keep yourself current, and you have to, give the people what they want. So not everybody is into jazz. Not everybody is into the, jazz cabaret. They want to, they want to get a little, something a little more commercial.
Well, you mentioned, as you were speaking just a moment ago, you mentioned Dee Dee Bridgewater. Dee Dee was a background singer on my first and only single that I had out. Yeah, Roy Ayers took me into the studio some years ago, and we did a thing called Sneakers, and the other side was called A Mother's Blues. And Dee Dee was one of the background singers on my single.
Wow, that's going back.
Yes, she's a phenomenal singer.
Oh, yeah, she's a great jazz artist, period. Blues, jazz. Yeah, she did. She started out doing Sophisticated Ladies in 1981 or 1980. And she did the Los Angeles company here at the Schubert. The Schubert no longer exists anymore. But anyway, she did that. She also did the first national company. She toured. And then she went to Europe and she did it in Paris. And that's when the magic happened. And they loved her in Paris. And that's when Paris embraced her, because over there, especially in France, they love African-American women who are talented.
Oh, yes. Yes.
A la Josephine Baker and people like that. So that's really, I think, what kind of set her career, got it in motion.
Well, see, now you just dropped another name. You just dropped the name Josephine Baker, Miss Becker. I worked on Broadway with Miss Baker.
Really?
I was at the Palace Theater on Broadway. I was her MC for her one-woman show that she did. And I was honored to be in her presence because my mother had told me as a child about this wonderful woman named Josephine Baker. And for me to be on stage with her for a week, I did a week with her as her MC. It was just a real honor. And
Oh, wow. I know that's a great honor and a great memory for you. Did you get picked? I hope you did. You get pictures with her?
I didn't get a picture with her, but I did get a mention in the New York Times.
All right. Well, that's
Yes.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw her. I got to see her for the first time. It was in the 70s. I thought it might have been like around 73, 74. She was at Carnegie Hall. Do you remember that time?
I think she went to Carnegie Hall after she left the Palace Theater.
Yeah. So that was like, that makes good sense. Yeah.
Wow. So now tell me, this tune with Johnny, it's a Gershwin tune. How did you guys pick this particular tune? Uh, they can't take that away from me.
Well, actually, it was Rodrigo. Rodrigo is the one who said, let's do the song I want you to do with Johnny. Matter of fact, he picked all the songs literally, except for the one I did with Dee Dee. He had nothing to do with the choice there.
Mhm.
And I'll explain. He's the one that picked They Can't Take That Away From Me, because he felt that I should do standards. He felt that it would be more, it would have more of a staying power, to do standards and to like more of like a catalog type thing,
Right.
where it would have a longer life. And that's what he thought. But the song is great. I performed the song as a solo artist when I'm doing my Ella tribute.
Oh, really?
But oh yeah, oh yeah. And then with Dee Dee, I came up. I always, you see, I did an album I was signed to Mac Avenue, that Mac Avenue jazz label.
Hmm.
And I did one album with them, and it was called Come Back to Me, Love. And after I did that album, I was thinking about what would I do for my next project. So I'm thinking, oh, I would love to do doodling. I would love to do doodling. So I kind of like kept that thought out there. So when Dee Dee, when Rodrigo suggested Dee Dee,
Hmm.
I said, you know what, Rodrigo, I love doodling. I said, but you know that song Moaning? He said, yeah, yeah. I said, every time I sing doodling, I keep hearing moaning. And so I said, I want to do it so that we do it playing off of one another,
Mm.
you know? So it starts out with me singing moaning, and then Dee Dee comes in singing doodling, and then we intersperse it together.
Oh, that's so nice. So
Yeah, it's
nice.
great. It's a great, by the way, it's a fantastic arrangement.
Wow. Well, I got a chance to listen to "They Can't Take That Away From Me," the duet, and you guys were. It was just a beautiful song, and the way you guys handled it, it was just wonderful. And I encourage people to go and listen to. They can Google it on YouTube and take a listen to it, just to get
Yeah,
a sampling of what's to come with the EP.
yeah, yeah. And then there's Kenny Lattimore. I did a
Really.
duet with Kenny Lattimore, and we did Let There Be Love, the old Nat King Cole song. So
Mm.
I decided, I said, you know what? You can't get any better than the Nat King Cole arrangement on Let There Be Love. It's just unique. So the best thing to do is to change it, do
Mhm.
something, reinvent it, change it. So when Gordon Goodwin first did the first example of it and sent it to me,
Mhm.
I said, Gordon, you know what? This is nice, but I'm doing a duet with Kenny Lattimore. I said, and he is a really good R&B singer. He is really good. And I think we should do something a little funkier, put some funk into it. Okay. And I did. I said, he made it more he did it first. He did it kind of standard.
Mhm.
I said, no, you change it around, put some funk in it. And he came back with an arrangement. I said, okay, you did it.
Wow.
So when you hear it, you'll see what I mean.
Now you've done Broadway and you've done touring also. Which Broadway shows are you most noted for?
I would say, I would say, I've done several touring companies of Duke Ellington's Sophisticated Ladies.
Hmm.
I also have done The Blues in the Night, Sheldon Epps,
Hmm.
and I've done about 5 companies of that.
Wow.
And I did Jelly's Last Jam
Hmm.
with Maurice Hines
Oh, good old
and
Maurice.
Savion Glover.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So I've done, I don't know if I'm noted for any particular one. Every time I do something, people always say, "Aren't you going to do Band of Gold?" I'm saying that doesn't belong in the show. That's something I can't do that here. This is another project. So,
But you have included Band of Gold in maybe 2 or 3 other projects that you've done, right?
well, when I perform in a club or a performing arts center, in a theater,
Hmm.
I do
Hmm.
it. I may do, let's say when I'm doing a straight up cabaret act and I'm doing just a bunch of a variety of songs. But for the most part, I've been doing a lot of tributes to Ella, where that's the whole theme is about Ella Fitzgerald. But I
Hmm.
still throw in other stuff, other songs. So at the end of the show, at the very end, like they say, your last number,
Hmm.
I I may do Band of Gold. And it's so funny that I can see the audience, their eyes, they just light up. They come to life because they're glad that I did it. And I'm thinking, oh, do they really want me to hear Band of Gold after I've just done all this other, wonderful material. And they love it because they say that's the reason why they came, is because they were fans of mine from Band of Gold.
From Band of Gold. Well, Freda, we're going to leave it right there and take a break, and we'll be right back. Thank you all for listening to What's Hot Harlem America with G. Keith Alexander. My special guest today is the lovely, talented Miss Freda Payne, and we'll be right back after this. So we are here with Miss Freda Payne. Freda, let's talk about how you were really one of the early activists. I mean, you were standing up for our soldiers, our troops, back
Yes.
back during a time when, if you had spoken these words that you sang, like Jane Fonda or Muhammad Ali, you would have been shunned. But you put it all into music, and
Yes.
because of that, it touched everyone's soul. And I'm talking about Bring the Boys Home. Tell us about
Yes.
that time, about that music, and about how you touched everyone.
Well, at that time, the Republican Party was in office, and it was Richard Nixon, and we were at war. It was 1971, so it was right in the thick of all that was going on. And so my record company, um, they had been looking for another hit for me, and so they came up with the song that uh, they came up with the song, and they said, "Come, we want you to hear this song we put together." It was a song that it was originally really meant for Laura Lee, who was
Hmm.
also on the label,
Oh, really?
but they wanted me to hear it because they were thinking, well, this might be a better tune, for me to do. And I listened to it, and it brought tears to my eyes. I said, you know what? This speaks to the hearts and the souls of the men who are over there, and also their relatives, and their loved ones. And I just felt like it was a perfect song to put out at that time. So we recorded it. We put it out, and 2 weeks later, they got a telegram. The record company, Invictus. I was on Invictus Records.
Hmm.
They got a telegram from Washington, D.C. stating that my song, Band of Gold, would not be played in South Vietnam due to the fact that it was giving aid and comfort to the enemy.
Really?
And I was like, what? I really kind of like felt, I don't get it. I mean, it's sort of like I know where they're coming from, but I didn't agree.
Hmm.
And as a result, the song became a hit
Yes,
because
it did.
people loved the song. First of all, it was a good track. the lyrics were saying, bring them back alive, bring the boys home, bring them back alive. Can't you see them marching through the sky? All the soldiers that have died,
Wow.
trying to get home,
Wow.
just trying to get home. And on that note, that lyric, can't you see them marching across the sky, trying to get home? All the soldiers that have died. It kind of like reminds me of this movie that's out. Yeah, the Five Bloods, Spike Lee's latest project, The Five Bloods, and that's why. Remember, if you've seen the movie, I saw it, but it depicts these brothers, these guys who were Vietnam vets, who had been performed and served over there, and one of their brothers, one of their partners, had been killed. And they wanted to go back and find his grave and get his bones and bring him back to the States.
Yes.
And of course, Chadwick Boseman was the brother that had been killed. And, yeah. So it kind of reminds me of that. Oh, as a matter of fact, talking about it reminds me of that. Bring the Boys Home as part of the score is played in that film.
It is. Oh, wow.
It's played in that film. It's played in the scene where they're in Vietnam and they're in this like a restaurant, and they're all sitting at a table, and you can hear Bring the Boys being played is like over the PA system.
Perfect. Well, these, I don't want to call them kids of today, but the young people of today, they need to know that you are part of our culture, that you have been a part of a movement to help bring attention to the Vietnam War, and they need to recognize that you are this famous woman who didn't you go out and even perform for the troops? Did you go to Vietnam?
I never did do that. Some people think I did because of Bring the Boys Home.
I thought you did.
I never did go to Vietnam. No,
I thought you were with Bob Hope. I thought you were with Bob Hope.
Yeah, that's who I probably would have been with, but I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to do that. Yeah, I worked with Bob Hope back then.
So maybe that's where I got that from. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. But you worked with Bob Hope. You've worked with, let's see. I had
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
Sammy
right.
Davis. Oh my God, I worked with a lot of people. Oh, I got to work with Sam Cooke back in the day before I even did Band of Gold.
You did?
Yeah, wow. At Club Harlem. See, I worked Club Harlem back in the 60s. And I worked there, Marvin Gaye, I worked with him. I worked with Sam Cooke. Yeah, at the Club Harlem before they had gambling.
There you go.
On Kentucky Avenue. Yeah, it was Larry Steele and his Smart Affairs.
So, all right. So now you're working on a book, your memoirs. You mentioned Sammy Davis Jr., and I saw a photo of you with Sammy, and you must have been a teenager.
I was.
When did that happen? That
was in Detroit. I was on a talent contest that was on TV. It was called the Ed McKenzie Dance Hour. And this was my second time on that show, because the first time I went on, I won. And then the second time I went on, I won again. And then Sammy just happened to be the headliner. Because they always book somebody who was appearing in the city locally, who was like a star, a big cabaret star. And they would have them perform on the show, every Saturday. And so after I won, we took a picture together. I was 13. I was 13 years old, and that's when that picture was taken.
Well, I almost didn't recognize you, but then it dawned on me that must be Freda. Now, You know, most people, I'm sure you've heard this, you know, all of your life, one of the most beautiful women in Hollywood. So how, in your mind, did that translate to you when, you know, consistently being told that you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful? How did that translate to you?
Well, I considered it a compliment, but I also considered it like a slight burden as well, because you always want to look nice when you go out, you know. I said, well, I don't want anybody to see me without makeup. But I wasn't always attractive. I wasn't always, let's say, beautiful. When I was a kid, up until I was about 12 years old, I wasn't very attractive at all. I was an ugly duckling.
Hmm. Wow.
And I was very shy. That contributed to it as well.
Mhm.
Now, my sister Sherry was like outgoing, gregarious. She was very cute, you know, and she always wanted to be, entertaining and you know, the one that's always trying to, you know, singing and dancing and all that. And I was kind of standoffish. So eventually, what happened was I came out of my cocoon, my shell, and through the help of my mother kind of saw through this,
Mhm.
and she started to do things like she changed my hair. She dyed my hair when I was 12 because I had my hair was kind of mousy brown, what they call towhead, you know, and she dyed my hair like a red auburn,
Mhm.
and that gave me a better look. And then she pulled my hair back, I think, and straightened it more. You know, back then, you know, mothers were into like, um, they ran behind you with the straightening comb.
Right.
That was it. You know, it's like, come on, hold still. Let me get that kitchen.
Right.
That kitchen meaning the back, you know, the back
Mhm.
part, you know,
Mhm.
the neckline.
Mhm.
So anyway, by the time I started entering these talent contests, that's what helped me. Entering the talent contest, people were surprised because they never knew me to be like a outgoing, entertaining kid. And when they saw this, they started to embrace me more. I became more popular. And that's what happened. And then when I became more popular, I started experimenting with makeup because I would get the Vogue magazine
Mhm.
and I would start experimenting my eyebrows, the eyeliner, you know.
Mhm.
And my mother wouldn't allow me to wear makeup outside, but I would put it on inside, and then of course I had to wash it off afterwards. But I would do that. I would kind of like start experimenting with my makeup, and and then by the time I turned 13 and 14, I was really into like wearing my eyebrow, you know, having the eyebrows thicker than they were, darker than they were, and stuff like that. So,
Now, all of this is going to be in your book that you're writing, this
oh
memoir.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. That's all. It's all going to be in there, including childhood pictures of me.
Really? So
Yeah.
we'll get a chance to see how you blossomed
Yeah,
into.
I blossomed. I blossomed. I wasn't always this cute little girl. I wasn't a cute little girl. I was a tomboy too. I was a tomboy. So
Really?
I was content to like not be noticed that much, you know, because I was like having fun, you know, riding my bike, um, you know, playing with the boys, fighting with the boys, you know, that kind of stuff.
I remember seeing a photo of you and Jane Kennedy
And Eartha
and
Kitt.
Eartha Kitt, all in bathing suits.
Yeah,
And was that for
yeah.
Jet magazine?
It was Jet magazine, and it was taken by Ike Sutton, who was Jet's chief photographer. And it was taken at Eartha's house outside by her pool. Yeah.
Three beautiful. I didn't know who to look at first. It was so beautiful. Now you recently you recently did Family Reunion, the
Yes, I
TV
did.
show with Richard and Loretta
Loretta
Devine.
Devine, Jack A. Harry, what's that, Tia from Sister
When
Sister.
is Yes? When are we able to see the episode?
I haven't been told yet, but it should be very soon because we did it. I did it. It was January the 20th and the 22nd. Those
Mhm.
2 days. Those were my work days, the 20th. So, and the theme was like Valentine's Day.
Oh, really?
That was the theme of the episode. So it should be on. It should be coming up soon.
Any new projects you're working on, or other than the debut of? In fact, you can hold up the
Oh
cover.
yeah, this one. This is the cover. This is the single.
Freda Payne
Johnny-
and Johnny Mathis.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So, any other projects you're working on?
Well, I'm just basically no other projects per se,
Mhm,
but there's always something new. There's
mhm.
always something new coming around the corner.
You did something a couple of months ago, a video.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, what I did. I got two things. That's important. I did a project for this. It's called the Mankind
Mhm,
Project.org.
mhm.
And they we recorded the song. Remember the old Benny King hit "Stand by Me"?
Oh, great, great song.
Well, it just so happens that the writer of the song, Mike Stoller, that was Lieber of Lieber and Stoller. Mike Stoller suggested me to do the song because,
Mhm,
and that I'm friends with with him and his wife Corky Hill,
mhm,
and they so they came to me and I agreed to do it. And what it is, they had me performing "Stand by Me." We recorded it with the track, and then they had a LGBT transgender choir.
mhm,
They recorded them separately. This was
mhm.
just done last August. They recorded them separately in another location. Uh, and so they put that all together and they recorded me and they put it out. It's called Stand By Me.
And the
And then I just did another project with the same people. And it's not out yet,
mhm.
but it's the song, we picked the song Lean on Me, Bill Withers.
Good
And
old
Lean
Bill.
on Me, it's like it was recorded outdoors and filmed outdoors on the roof of a building downtown, the federal
Mhm,
building.
mhm,
And I'm singing Lean on Me,
mhm.
and we're using a gospel choir doing the backgrounds,
Mm.
and also the police choir. I didn't
The
know they
police
had a choir.
choir?
The police had a, yeah,
I
the
didn't
police
either.
have a choir. And this is in conjunction with Black Lives Matter.
Mm.
So that's
Excellent,
very
excellent.
political, very political.
Mhm.
So it's the police choir, the gospel choir, and then me singing the lead, "Lean on Me." And we have a rapper. They have a rapper, this young Latino kid. He lives, I think he's like 16 or 17, maybe 18 years old. And when it comes for the break, he does a rap. So he's rapping on it too.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So see, you're still current. I mean, you've been a part of our culture. You're still a part of the culture, and your book, your chapter, has not been written yet. The final chapter has not been written yet. You're still uh, making history. So
Yeah, and my book, oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, my book, I've been working on that for over a year.
Mhm,
And with a guy by the name of Mark Vigo.
mhm.
And Mark and I have been working on the book all year long. We started the year before last, actually, and that will be out this year. We plan that should be released and published this year. We're looking at September, around there, September, October.
Oh, great.
My
Fantastic.
book.
We'll be looking for that. In fact, maybe we'll have to have you back. We're going to take a break real quick and we'll come back. And when we come back, I want to talk about how I used to hang out with one of the most beautiful women in Hollywood when we come back. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to What's Hot Harlem America with G. Keith Alexander. Remember, you can subscribe to us on all of your favorite podcast platforms. And don't forget to tell a friend that if they missed the show this afternoon, that they can catch us at harlemamerica.com. Freda Payne's podcast to be there and all of our other podcasts. So thank you so much. We'll be right back after this. So, Freda, I have been racking my brain to recall, probing and analyzing my memory banks, recalling all of the time that you and I spent together here in New York.
Yeah.
We had lunch at Cafe Regionette. We went roller skating at Metropolis roller skating rink, which I was really, really surprised that you could really skate. I mean,
Oh, well, but you remember all of that?
yes.
You've got a good memory. You got a sharp memory. Well, wait a minute. Did we go roller skating in New York?
We went roller skating in New York. We were roller skating in New York at a very popular place called Metropolis. We did that. Then also, I remember you used to sing the national anthem at the baseball games.
Yeah.
And I escorted you out on the field a couple of times. We did that twice.
Wow.
We did that twice. And I'm saying to myself, wow, I'm with this beautiful woman. I mean, how did I get to be so fortunate, And then
I never knew you felt that way about me, because you were just a nice guy. You were just this great, nice guy. And I never thought you felt that way.
Well, I did. I had this thing for you, but because because a friend of mine who you dated had told me, well, he told me he had dated you. I resisted letting my feelings be known because I didn't want to, trespass on my friend's,
territory.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
That was Richard Roundtree.
yes, Richard Roundtree.
Yeah, Richard and I, we were an item back then,
Yes.
But you mentioned the roller skating. You said I could skate. Well, I'm from Detroit, and a lot of, not everybody, but a lot of kids back then in those days, they could skate. That was our pastime, going roller skating, going to the Arcadia. There was a place called the Arcadia skating rink in Detroit that was really, really well known. And I remember because Aretha would go there. I mean, everybody was there. It was like,
Really?
we're going back to as far back as maybe the late 50s and in the 60s. Yeah. Because I was like a teenager then at that time. I read rollers. So when I got to New York, I could still skate.
Yes, you surprised me, I'm telling you. And that night I'm saying to myself, should I or shouldn't I? Should I or shouldn't I? And I said, no, I better not. Then we had lunch at Regionette one afternoon. I'm sitting across from you and we're eating and we're talking. And in the back of my mind, should I or shouldn't I?
You remember the name of the restaurant?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. And then there was another place I had to escort you to where you performed. I think it was twice. A place called Plato's Retreat. Do you remember Plato's Retreat?
Oh, wow. Plato's Retreat. I remember the Continental Baths.
Okay. That was
it.
That was the Continental Baths. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was called the Continental Baths, and it was run and owned by Steve Ostro. And I worked there. You know who also that kicked her career off? Bette Midler.
That's right. That's
And
right.
Sarah Vaughan worked there. Melba Moore worked there. And it was like, it was a bath. It was a bathhouse, believe it or not.
For
I
men.
guess yeah.
And I had never seen anything like that before. So while you were singing, I'm walking around and I'm looking up saying, well, wait a minute, what's going on here?
What is
Holy
this?
moly. Yes, people walking around in towels and things.
Yeah. What's going on here?
Yeah. But yeah, it was always so nice being with you, though. I mean, to be a man about town and to be seen with a beautiful woman, especially a famous beautiful woman, it was always a pleasure for me. But I always remembered if it hadn't been for Richard, maybe I might have had a chance.
Oh, you see, in life, you say, well, I should have turned left instead of right.
Right. So, which brings me to the point, or brings me to this question. What have you had to give up? Have you ever sacrificed anything to become the Freda Payne that you are?
Well, you sacrifice doing things that you, let's say, normally would do or want to do, but you say to yourself, well, you know what, I better not do that, because I got to keep my image, keep my image pretty clean or whatever. And so when you sacrifice, well, first of all, being an entertainer and out here like this, you just sacrifice by taking care of you. You take care of. I don't know if I would call that a sacrifice. Or you have to give up something that you can't. Like, for instance, if you have a dog, I remember when my son was born, and I got booked to do Daddy Goodness, and I realized that I couldn't keep him with me during the rehearsal period because I needed all my spare time to concentrate on the script and what I was doing. And I didn't see him. He must have been like about 15 months old at the time, or 18 months old. And I remember I didn't see him for 4 weeks. And then finally I said, you know what? I'm going to have my baby brought out here. We were in Philadelphia. And I had my housekeeper I flew them both out, and I said, I'll never do this again. That was a sacrifice to me. I remember when they arrived, I just grabbed him and picked him up, and I just bawled. It was like, oh God, I'll never do that again. So that's why sometimes when I hear about certain performers, superstars, how they have to, like, they're on the road all the time, they're touring. And a lot of them, they don't take their kids with them because guess what? The kids are in school.
Right.
There was a time when Gregory started preschool. I didn't want to take him out of school. So I would I'd be work because I got to work. I got to work to make money to pay my bills. And he would sometimes when it came to spring break, I would fly him and the housekeeper out to where I was, and they would stay with me for the whole time till it was time to go back. And I remember when I did Sophisticated Ladies in Las Vegas, it was like an 8-month run.
Wow.
And we had a day off, which was Monday. So I would actually fly back to LA, like I think it was Sunday night. I would fly back to LA, spend the whole day, all day Monday, and then fly back Tuesday afternoon. So I was doing that. And then when Gregory, when he had spring break or something or if it was the summer months, during the summer months, I would have Gregory come flown back, and I would have him with me all the time. So I tried to keep him with me as much as possible.
Well, I heard you speak to him just a little while ago. Is he?
Yes.
Are you still keeping him with you?
Yeah, he's still here. He's living with me. He's living with me because it's kind of, at this point in my life, it's really not safe to be living alone. So I'm glad he's here.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Because he's had two parents in the music business, has Gregory decided to get into the music business or entertainment?
Well, his dad, Gregory Abbott. See, Gregory, when we were married, Gregory wasn't in the business.
He was a teacher, but he wrote the song.
He was a student going to Stanford University, and he was working on his doctorate. And all he had to do was his dissertation. And he said, I'm done with that. So he was coming back and forth to LA. So I finally said, you know what? Why don't you come back here and stay and live with me? And because we had a relationship, and he lived with me, and we were together for living together for 10 months until my uncle, who was a pastor and became a bishop of the Pentecostal church in Chicago, he insisted that we get married because he said, you guys are living in sin. So we got married, and that was that. We stayed, and then I got pregnant right away. I got pregnant right away. I think I got pregnant on our honeymoon. And
that's a good time to on the honeymoon.
Yeah. And so we didn't stay married long. I thought my marriage was going to last longer. I really did. I thought I'd made the right decision, but it turned out that I made an error, but it was okay. I mean, he wasn't a bad person at all. I mean, he was a good person, but it just didn't work out. Let's say conflict of interest or irreconcilable differences. They use that word a lot.
And what was the big hit that he wrote?
Oh, Shake You Down.
Gregory,
he lucked out. We separated, and then we divorced. He went back to New York, where he's from. And I started hearing rumors from people that know me and know him. They said, oh, he's going in the studio recording and working on some songs. And also I'd heard that he had started getting a job on Wall Street, because he's very smart, with that. He was always kind of like into the business side. And then the next thing I know, I'm reading in Jet, Columbia Records, Gregory Abbott has a record deal, an album deal on Columbia. And I'm saying, well, I'll be darned. And then the song comes out and becomes, not only, it goes to #1 pop, excuse me, and R&B. And at the same time. And I said, well, I'll be darned. I said, if I hadn't divorced him, this never would have happened. So, sometimes some things are meant to be.
You guys are still friends today, or?
We talk, but we don't really, we're not, let's say we could be friendlier. I'll put it that way. We could be friendlier.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. So, who would you like to work with now?
Oh my goodness, who would I like to work with now?
If you had a wish list, give me 3 people that you'd like to work with.
I'd like to work with, I would say, oh my goodness. That's a hard question for me.
Give me a singer and an actor, and
Denzel Washington, actor.
Okay, Denzel. Okay.
And singer, that would be, I would say, well, I already worked with, I've worked with the ones I like the most. Huh? Oh, he means it could be a man or a woman?
Well, yes, it could be a man or a woman.
Wow. Peebo, well, I worked with Peebo already. Peebo Bryson, we worked together.
You also did a project with Kanye West and a few other people it was a song called
that was the We Are the World.
We Are the World. With
Quincy. That was with Quincy Jones.
Okay.
And that's that was a project that was that 2008? 2010. 2010, because it was involving the earthquake in Haiti.
Right, that's what it was. Right.
Yeah, and it was, oh my God, anybody was on that.
That's great.
On that particular. particular program. We
Freda,
were at the A&M studios in Hollywood.
Freda, we're wrapping it up now, but I want you to know it was so nice reconnecting with you, and so nice reflecting on our time together. And and I certainly hope that this won't be the last time that you come back and let us know what's going
Oh,
on.
I'd like to say before we cut it off,
Mhm.
I would say Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder. Okay.
I've never done a project with Stevie Wonder.
Funny you should say Stevie, because I reached out. I left I sent an email to Stevie. I left a voicemail. I tried to leave a voicemail on his phone, but his voicemail is always filled because
Yeah.
I was trying to get him for the show as well. We've got 1 minute
Oh,
left, and I want to thank you so very, very much. This has been great, and I look forward to listening to the project when it drops March 26th. You said?
yeah. Yes.
You and Johnny Mathis, and I look forward to
Yeah.
seeing you on the family reunion, and I look forward to speaking with you again real soon. So thank you so very much.
Okay. I would love to speak with you again, Keith.
It'll be my pleasure.
Okay.
Have a great day and a better one tomorrow. Don't judge your brother or sister too harshly until you walked a mile in his or her shoes. And remember, life is tough, but you're tougher. Have a great day and a better one tomorrow, unless you've made other plans. This has been Keith Alexander on What's Hot Harlem, America. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
Bye.